To begin coding with Angular quickly at the beginning of this course, I provided the basic files needed to set up our development environment. Those files are part of the starter files you may have downloaded from the GitHub repository for this course, as detailed in the First Things First module. Now let's revisit each of these files and see what they do. Note that the content of these files may change over time, but it's unlikely that the basic purpose and use of the files will change. So don't worry if your files don't look exactly as those shown in these demos. With that said, let's get to know some of these files better, starting with tsconfig.json. This file is a TypeScript configuration file. It specifies TypeScript compile options and other settings. The TypeScript compiler, TSC, reads this file and uses these options and settings. The presence of this file in a folder indicates that the folder is the root of a TypeScript project. Most of today's browsers only understand the ES5 version of JavaScript, so we need to tell the TypeScript compiler to transpile our TypeScript code into ES5 code, so ES5 is our target. The source map option defines whether TypeScript should generate map files. Map files assist with debugging, so it's a good idea to set this to true. The emit decorator metadata and experimental decorators options provide support for our decorators. These must be set to true or our Angular application won't compile. The no implicit any option defines whether the TypeScript compiler will default untyped variables to a type of any if it can't infer the type. If we want to ensure all of our variables are strongly typed, we can change this to true. The exclude option tells TypeScript not to compile specified files or all files in specified folders. We include the Node modules folder here since we already installed the JavaScript versions of these files. The next two are a little more arcane. When installing TypeScript definition files, the typings command installs two versions of the typings. One set appropriate for the browser in a browser folder, and one set appropriate for Node in a main folder. If TypeScript compiles both of these folders, we'll get duplicate identifier errors. Since we are running in the browser, we want to exclude the typing/main folder and the typing/main.d.ts file so we don't get duplicate type definitions. Feel free to add or change this file as needed to configure the TypeScript compiler to the needs of your application and environment. So, disappointingly, the TypeScript compiler isn't psychic. It uses this file to know how to compile our TypeScript code. Next, let's look at the package.json file.